Today on the channel, it's the return of the Kyle Peterson Top 10, and in honor of the 57,000 subscribers to this very YouTube channel, we're counting down my top 10 most wanted G.I. Joe classified figures, but with a twist, they had to come from the 25th anniversary figure subscription line.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another edition of the Kyle Peterson Top 10, a Thursday tradition here on the channel. As every single Thursday, we're doing a top 5, and occasionally, like today, a top 10 countdown. And today, in honor of 57,000 subscribers on this channel, we're counting down my top 10 most wanted G.I. Joe classified series figures, but with a little twist, as they have to come from the 25th anniversary / figure subscription club back in the day. A fabulous club that I really enjoy being a part of. It was a great club, Todd. It was that and the Motor Headbangers Club were my two clubs, especially in that 2000 era. Absolutely love this line of the 25th anniversary G.I. Joe and the figure subscription club. That and the classic superstars are what brought me back into collecting, very hardcore, and to what we've seen at this point here. Before that, I was basically out of collecting. I would dabble a figure here and there, but those lines made me a completionist. And that's where we've rolled into this thing the rest of my life here. So this is a fun one to count down. So many good figures from that figure subscription club. And I really wish more companies would take something out of the playbooks from that. I would love to see Collect Major. That's the best, most likely I could see maybe doing something that would succeed very well for them. You buy 12, 24 figures a year. If you sign up for the whole year, you get one free bonus figure at the end of the year free. I put it with quotations. And you get those free figures or free figure to people that pre-order the whole wave for the entire year. It's a great way to gain capital really quick, and on the back end, a very hard to find, probably very valuable figure on the back end. So I would love to see more of these companies, especially with some of these smaller companies there. I think that's a way to get some extra capital. I don't know, putting the old business hat on, as we always like to say here. But usually in these videos, and this one's going to be no different, we're going to count down this one, and we're going to start at number 10. We're going to work our way to number 1. Number 1 being my absolute most wanted figure that I would love to see in the G.I. Joe classified line. And as usual, this is my list. Put your list in the comments down below. So without further ado, let's kick it off. Number 10. All right, the countdown begins at number 10. And number 10, we just recently talked about this figure over on Kyle Peterson 2.0. My second YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed to that one. If not, you're missing videos every single day over there as well. But we just brought this figure out over there in a different review, and now we're bringing it back here. Maybe that's why it's top of mind a little bit. This one I have to think is going to happen. I could see this as a fan channel exclusive, maybe a convention exclusive down the line. And it would be an easy repaint in the classified series because we got the guy it's based on already. One big boa. You probably know where I'm going. We're going to the figure subscription club. We're going to Kangar. Yes, Kangar, a repaint of Big Boa, but he comes with a kangaroo. You put an animal with these guys, you know I'm buying those. Going back to my childhood, if there was an animal, they immediately jumped to the top of my most wanted list, and I think Kangar would be a fun deluxe one here. Getting a lot of Big Boa reuse. You put the kangaroo, you get a few other guys or a few other accessories along the way. I think there's a lot of meat on the bone here. Would love to see this one of these days here in the classified line. I think it's an easy layup if they want to do it. So Kangar comes in number 10. We're feeling fine at number 9, and once again, we go to the figure subscription club, and this character was never in the cartoon, but was in the comic books and had a pretty big angle, a story arc, whatever you want to call it in the comic books back in the day. It is the son of Cobra Commander, Billy Arboc. I don't know, Cobra backwards, as we do know. Started as a bad guy, worked his way to a good guy. Him and Snake Eyes, the ultimate dream team, and he's got an eye patch, huh? We know we're here for that. But a cool one from the comic days here. Have to imagine we'll see this in the classified series one of these days. A favorite character of many. I wouldn't say he's my favorite character by any means, but I always thought he looked really cool. Love the backstory, love the eye patch. I'm a sucker for a guy in an eye patch. So Billy Arboc would be perfect, and he comes in number 9. Feeling great at number 8, and you knew I had to shoehorn my all-time favorite G.I. Joe character somewhere into this countdown, and I'm being realistic here. I'm putting this one at number 8, and I do expect this one to happen in the Classified Series line. Now, this is the only one from this top 10 countdown that does not come from the Figure Subscription Club. This comes from the traditional retail 25th anniversary line. But who are we talking about? Of course, we're talking about Flint, but what Flint is it? Well, it is the Flint in disguise, the disguise Flint in the Cobra gear. I'm here for this. Another easy repaint. And heck, you could probably make your own pretty easy, just swapping some parts on current classified figures. But want an official version, of course. You know I'm a Flint guy. Now, I would love that desert version of Flint, and I would really love the Eco Warriors Flint. Both of those were not in the 25th or the 25th anniversary or the Figure Subscription line. So no chance to have them in this countdown, but this Flint we have not got yet, so I'm going to put this one in, and I'm going to shoehorn it in at number 8. Countdown continues at number 7, and I distinctly remember getting this one part of the original 3 3/4 line as a little kid. At one Children's Palace, if anybody knows about the Children's Palace, you're probably a real one. I think it was like Child's World or Children's World or something like that on the East Coast, but in the Midwest, it was Children's Palace, and got a lot of Joes there when I was a little kid, before Toys R Us moved into my town, and unfortunately Children's Palace went out of business. But I always talk about it. I already talked about it in this video. If a character came with an animal, it was a day one purchase. And one of the magical things about growing up in the 80s and 90s, you never knew what was hitting the store shelves. The little kids didn't know. You just went to that Kmart one day, and voila, there's a whole new line of wrestling figures, new line of G.I. Joe. It was always a magical time because you truly went to the toy aisle every single time, not knowing what new things you were going to see. So I really miss that, and I'm sure little kids probably, I guess they don't know any different at this point maybe, but that was a magical thing once upon a time. That is one thing I really miss. If I could do anything about collecting back in the day, I would love to be surprised in the toy aisle. I'd love to roll up to Target and be absolutely shocked. But that's neither here nor there, because number 7, we got Spearhead and Max, the Point Man as he's known on the package here. Spearhead and Max is always really cool. Love this one. Like I said, I found it at Children's Palace. Didn't know it was coming out. Never heard of a character. It was a new character for your Joe Fed. The nostalgia aspect of this one carries it pretty heavy for me. But once again, you get an animal in here. He makes sense for the classified line. I can see this one here in the next year or two. Spearhead and Max come in, number 7. Next up is number 6, and a lot like number 7, number 6, I distinctly remember buying at my local Target store. And it's funny, I still go to that Target. It's the oldest Target in my town. It's been there my whole life. And I go there and I think of the great figures I bought over the years at that very Target. I really think back to the Macho King Randy Savage from the Hasbro WWF line. So many Hasbros picked up there once upon a time. But I also think of some of the great G.I. Joes I picked up at that Target. And one of them is a very underrated Joe. Have to imagine he'll be in the classified line. Wouldn't be shocked if he didn't get like the heavy duty treatment or the Budo treatment. I could see that happening. It's the Ride of Might. It's time for Salvo at number 6. And when I was a little kid, he felt very heavy metal to me. Just obviously heavy weapons guy, as we know, but the Ride of Might just felt like a t-shirt a heavy metal guy would be wearing or something. So I always did love Salvo. I think he just will translate to the classified line perfectly when that time does come. And it can't come soon enough for me as Salvo comes in, number 6. We hit the halfway point of the countdown. You got your list together. Put it in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to this very YouTube channel, as every Thursday we got countdown videos. You guys know that by now. And don't forget my other channel while you're at it. But here we are at number 5. And number 5 to me is a Hall of Fame G.I. Joe member. And I'm honestly shocked we have not got this in the classified series yet. I do have to think he's coming in the next year or two. He has to be, because he was a very big part of the comics, but he was a big part of the cartoons for me personally. I loved his backstory. I loved the story around him. And what other Joe got turned into a killer whale? I'll wait, not any others, but it is Iceberg. Yes, Iceberg. He was from, like, I think Texas. What's it say? Oh, Brownsville, Texas. I wonder if he knew Brownsville Station. Was he smoking in the boys' room? But remember how he, like, came from Texas, which is notoriously hot, but he couldn't stand the hot weather and he always wanted to be cold. I always thought that was a cool story for him. And then he got turned into that killer whale. That was some nightmare fuel for little Kyle once upon a time. Absolutely loved it though. Iceberg, a key member of the second generation of the cartoon Joes. And like I said, I am shocked we haven't got him yet, but absolutely love this figure. Can't wait to see what they do eventually in the classified line. Next up, we're at number 4, and I almost didn't put this on the list because I know this is coming sooner rather than later, but I said, nope, I got to know what I know right now and who I want to see. I'm not going to change anything around, but these ones will be coming in a 2-pack eventually. I don't know if it'll be a fan channel exclusive, maybe a Target exclusive, but I have to imagine we will see this 2-pack eventually, probably sooner rather than later. But we're going to Xamot and Tomax. We got them in their business suits. Such a key look for them, of course, over the years. We've got their regular blue and red. We've got the crimson versions. It's time for the suited versions. Now, a lot of people, myself included, have made custom ones already, but we have to be getting those in the classified series line sooner rather than later, as I said. But looking very good. A lot of fun with these two, and you remember them in the cartoon specifically wearing these suits all the time. So it's just a matter of time before we get this, but we need these guys coming in, number 4. We're down to the final 3 in my most wanted G.I. Joe classified series figures, but with an asterisk, they got to come from the 25th anniversary figure subscription club. But here we are at number 3, and some people, Todd McFarlane, would say the true leader of G.I. Joe. I wouldn't say, but I respect the decision a lot more than Duke, that's for sure. We're going to General Hawk at number 3, but we're going to the wild 90s version of General Hawk, another figure I loved as a kid with his flight suit, space suit, whatever you want to call it. I always loved this General Hawk. Much like Flint, General Hawk, a guy that led from the front line and didn't get caught up with nepotism and crazy stuff like Duke always did. You know, turning his back on his country is what Duke basically did. And we talked about what Mainframe found on his computer. We found him in the Epstein files. We found out Duke was racist. A lot of terrible stuff about that no good Duke. General Hawk, clean as a whistle. And in my brain, I always think of this as General Hawk Part 2, but obviously there was the early one with the blonde hair and the more soldier look. But the OG General Hawk, which you've already got in the classified series line, is the one from the Serpentor years, as I like to always call it. That's the classic Hawk, but I loved getting this one as a kid. I thought this was a very underrated figure. I still like it after all these years. Once again, I could see this one getting the heavy-duty treatment as a deluxe figure. Makes a lot of sense. Maybe not in the next year or two, but eventually they'll get around to it. And I'm ready for this version of General Hawk, and he comes in, number 3. Getting dangerously close to the top spot. We're at the number 2 selection now, and number 2 comes to us from a line that a lot of kids on the old playground enjoyed, and then a few years later, it kind of was one of those lines where they rolled their eyes. But now, all these years later, it is very nostalgic. It is very 90s with the Captain Planet fiasco going on once upon a time. Who are we talking about at number 2? Well, we're going to Cesspool. Oh, the Eco Warriors, big bad guy. Now, Flint would probably be here. Now, we got, I think, 2014, we got a Flint, but it wasn't part of these lines. So I couldn't put Flint in here. But man, I would love to have Flint and Cesspool as a 2-pack. That would be amazing to see. But Cesspool I always thought was really, really cool because of that huge scar on his face, the white eye. He just looked like a guy that was full of sludge and pollution and stuff. So very underrated, but very cool for the early 90s. I remember at Christmas, I don't know, 91, 92, whatever it was around there, getting him and Flint back in the day, and it was a game changer. I was very excited to get a new Flint, very excited to get a new evil-looking villain in the collection, and Cesspool would translate very well to the classified series, and that's why I'm putting him at number 2, which, like Highlander, there can only be one. What is my number 1 most wanted? Well, stay tuned. We've hit the number 1 spot. Do you got yours together? Put it in the comments down below, and you're already here. Might as well thumbs up the video. Help the channel out, how about? But here we are at number 1, and I've been wanting this one for a long time. And there's a lot of people that are a little older than me, let's be honest, a lot older than me, Todd McFarlane, that this is one of their absolute favorite G.I. Joe characters. Now, I read the G.I. Joe comic up to like 120 issues or whatever it was. I read it all way back in the day when I was, I don't know, a teenager, I guess is what it would have been. So it's been a long time, but I know this character was much bigger in the comic books. He had a little bit more to do in the early episodes of the cartoon, really kind of fell off the face of the earth as time did go by. So this version of this character is the defining version for someone like me and maybe my age bracket as well. And I think this will happen in the classified series eventually. I think it'll be a nice deluxe pack when the time comes. Who do I want most wanted at number 1? Well, we're going to Sergeant Stalker in his, I always called it the Arctic canoe stage of his life. He left the green camo behind and said, you know what, I'm moving up somewhere it's a little colder. I'm going to be rafting. That's what I'm going to do. And I would love to see this represented in the classified series line. As I said, when I close my eyes and think of Stalker, I know a lot of people think the OG. This is what I think. I think of him and his trusty kayak. A lot of good times kayaking, fishing, doing their thing. And with a little bit of the more Arctic stuff with the classified series here in 2026, this might be a good figure to see around the corner sooner rather than later. So Sergeant Stalker and his canoe take the top spot in the top 10 countdown. But what's your countdown looking like? Put it in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day and then some. We got 2 YouTube channels to subscribe to. You know that by now. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com. Also, conveniently enough, the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, each and every Tuesday, where our podcasts are found, with videocast on YouTube. And while you're here, check out the Patreon, check out YouTube channel memberships. To support the channel, you get early access to all the videos from both channels, early access to the podcast, glamour shots, giveaways, Q&As, you name it, all going on in the Patreon YouTube channel membership. So for another G.I. Joe Top 10, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?